Framingham Public Schools is partnering with Parent Square to communicate and engage with our FPS community. Download the app in either the App Store or Google Play Store through the QR codes on the screen or with the links in our show notes. Stay involved with your students' learning activities at school from anywhere. We're good? We're all good to go? Hey everybody, Bob Tremblay here, Bobcast. This is the episode number 2, and so we're giving this a go. I have a special guest today. Michelle Kinsella is a superstar in the city of Framingham. There's not one person that doesn't know, I don't think, there's not one person who doesn't know who you are.
Thanks.
So welcome to the Bobcast. Awesome to have you here. This is a program where we try to just talk about things that are of interest in schools, but it's a chance for me to get to know some of our staff and the amazing things they do, and we're going to talk about those things today. So,
awesome.
Welcome.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So
thanks for having me.
You and I go back, though.
We do. Back to Milford. Yeah. You were, I think your first year as superintendent was my son's first year of kindergarten.
Yeah.
And now he's a senior in college. So we go back.
Who feels old?
Oh, God. Both of us, right?
Both of us do, right?
It's crazy. I don't know where time goes.
Here's the difference. I don't like even walking, but yet you run around the world, literally.
So
we're going to talk about that today. But before we do, say a little bit about what you do in Framingham. You've been a long-time educator in Framingham Public Schools, long-time health educator here. In fact, the birds and the bees, you've saved a lot of families from having those difficult conversations because you kind of lead off with it, right? So say a little bit about what you do in the Framingham schools.
So this is my 28th year in Framingham. So this is the only job I've ever had out of college. I'm very proud of that. And I teach 5th grade health, and I've taught over 21,000 kids in Framingham since I started, which it just makes me happy. I love being able to teach everyone. I love when kids will say things like, "Oh, Miss Kinsella said," and parents seriously, Michelle, can you help me out?
Let Miss Kinsella
exactly. Yeah, she can do it. So it's just nice, and it's nice when I have the siblings and the younger siblings are always like, "Oh, when are we going to do this?" And just the anticipation of coming to class is. It's just wonderful.
I had a chance to attend one of your parent events over the years, and it's amazing. Even the parents are a little bit blush in the face for your conversations, but you handle it so beautifully. You work with the kids so well. They love you. The staff loves you. The community. Really, it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah. That is I love teaching puberty. Puberty is it's my jam, and I think just being able to teach kids about their bodies and make them feel comfortable and being able to deliver it in a way that they laugh, because I think it just kind of cuts out the nervousness. They're going to laugh, because talking about armpits or talking about all body parts.
Yeah.
And just so that they feel comfortable and know that it's okay to talk about and it's nothing to be scared of. And I want them to be able, if something's going wrong with their body, I want them to be able to know who to talk to and feel comfortable saying, "Hey, this doesn't feel right."
Yeah.
So then that makes me feel happy, because then they do go home and have these conversations with their families, and it helps families, build that communication, because then I feel I've done my job when they're going home and they say, "Oh, Miss Kinsella this, and she's so silly and she's doing that," but they're talking about it, and then it allows parents to have conversations with their children, whether it's about, vaping, whether it's about their body, diseases. It matters. It matters to the kids, and it matters to the family dynamics. So.
Right. So you're not really taking on the responsibility of the parents, but what you are doing is opening the door for those conversations to happen in a comfortable way. Because I imagine that body image, there's a lot of what people see on social media, and they have this sort of readjusted or renormalized view of what the world looks like and what I should look like. And I imagine you deal with that a lot in the world of health education.
All the time. I just want kids to be able to advocate for themselves, and it's just so important that they have that ability, to stand up for themselves and get the help they need, and
just that empowerment.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
And you always have a smile on your face. You're running all around every school, all 9 elementary schools
Yes.
in the district. And I've never once seen you in our many, many years together not have this persona that you bring today. So we're
I'm
just
very
so grateful.
fortunate. I'm very fortunate, like to be able to come to school every day and do what I love and have fun. You know, like
Yeah, how great is that?
it's the best job ever.
And
It's the
get-
best job ever. Like,
and then being on the Bobcast is
yeah,
like,
it's
wow.
hello. This is the pinnacle right here.
The pinnacle. Listen, we're going to shift off of your career work because one of the things that the Bobcast looks to do is to sort of unearth other topics and things and let the world in a little bit on other parts of what you bring, to the work, but also who you are. The world may not know. Well, the world actually does know because you've been around the world with this running passion of yours. So talk a little bit about this. You're a world marathoner. So I do know that a marathon is 26.2 miles, though my son reminds me it's actually 26.2188 miles. And I suppose that makes a difference if you're the one, on the running it.
Exactly, because that last point two, that is when you see that finish line, you're just like, please get me there. Yeah, you feel every mile, every step of that.
How long have you been running?
So I started when I was 35.
Oh.
So, yep. So it's just new. I just had my kids and I wanted to do something for myself. I just needed to, not be a mom all the time. And so just have a moment to get outside and be active. And then my father is a Vietnam veteran and he started to see a therapist for PTSD. And so he had gone, almost 40 years without any counseling or any treatment. And he started to see a therapist, and I saw a difference in him. I saw lightness in him. I was just so proud of him for going and seeing a counselor. He's a Marine. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm proud of my dad, and I am going to go run the Marine Corps Marathon.
That's awesome.
In his honor.
So you ran your very first marathon, United States Marine Corps Marathon. Where is that held?
In D.C.
In D.C.?
Yep. So that was in 2010 was my first Marine Corps. And then once you start running them, for me anyways, that feeling of crossing the finish line there's nothing greater.
I can't imagine.
There's
how
nothing
exhilarating.
greater. It's that sense of accomplishment, like you did it. It's like I got from point A to point B and no one helped me. At that moment, like I was able to accomplish a goal that I had set. And that's the feeling that you chase.
How many times have you run the Marine Corps Marathon?
13 times.
13 times.
13 times.
I think anyone
Yeah.
running one marathon in their lifetime would be an achievement.
Yeah.
13 times. How about Boston?
I've run Boston 6 times. So my first Boston was the year after the bombings. I had done Marine Corps. And then after that happened, I'm like, I need to run Boston, and it's always so hard to get into it. I don't qualify. I'm not a fastie. I'm a back of the packer, very proud of that. And so I fundraised.
Yeah, to qualify
be-
for Boston is a real.
You have to be a fastie.
You
Yeah,
really do.
absurd numbers.
I mean, I think just running the marathon itself and the personal drive, but I'm glad you find that personal satisfaction. But
Yeah.
say what does it mean to be a world marathoner though? Because there's 800 marathons around the world, something like that.
Yeah.
But there's 6 that are distinguished.
These
right?
are the ones, right?
These
the
are the ones.
Abbott.
And you brought medals that
I did.
This is evidence.
Very proud, very
proof that
proud.
you've actually run all 6 of these. So tell us what it means to be a world marathoner, and maybe walk us through the medals that you have here.
Definitely. So Boston is amazing because it's our hometown. Starting Hopkinton, ending in Boston, and being able to run through Framingham.
Yeah, do they cheer loud for you in Framingham?
You have no idea. Like it is.
Like-
I've never felt like a rock star running through Framingham on the Boston Marathon. Like I literally said it. I just gave myself
see-
chills.
I
I
can see
literally
goosebumps
just gave
on your arms
myself.
from
Yeah,
here.
it is that like magical to see all the kids out there. Just so many signs, and my most favorite sign was from someone. They wrote "Powered by Puberty." So I was like, that sign's amazing. It was very funny. I can't think of her name. She's an actress from Brookline. She was in Orange is the New Black.
Oh, Uzo Aduba.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, she actually went to school in Medfield.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, back in the day.
So we're running,
Okay.
right? And so she's next to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm just a little bit ahead of her. And everyone's like, go, Miss Kinsella, go, Miss Kinsella. And so she says to me, she's like, who are you? And so I turn back. I'm like, I'm Michelle Kinsella. I'm like, I'm the 5th grade health teacher. And then I like recognize who she is.
Wow.
And she's like, I just thought maybe I get a few cheers. So it was just awesome. It was just awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So Boston was the first of these 6 in the collection here.
Yes. Yep.
Right? And then what was next?
Then we had the New York City Marathon.
Okay.
In 2017. One of my friends works for the New York Roadrunners, and so she was able to get me a bib for New York, which it actually took me longer to get to the start line of New York City than to get to the finish line. Because to go from, the subway to the ferries to the bus to Athletes Village, it took me over 5 hours to get to the start line because there's just so many people running New York.
Is there a certain part of New York you run by and you're like, makes it all worth it?
What for New York, which I never knew, being from Massachusetts, I never knew what it meant to be a New Yorker until I ran the New York City Marathon. Everyone cheering, they're like, welcome to Brooklyn. Thank goodness you're out of Staten Island, and people being so proud of that teeny little block that they are part of. It was magical. That day, I understood when people say, like, oh, I'm a New Yorker.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's what that means.
Are these all around the same time of the year? Or these
New York is in November. It's usually the first Sunday in November.
Do you like running when it's colder out so you can warm up into it?
I would take 0 degrees. I would take minus 10 degrees any day over.
Your breathing is going to be impacted by that cold, though, no?
It's all right. You breathe in through your nose, it cools it, warms it up, and then you breathe it out. No, it's running in the cold weather for me personally is 1,000 times easier.
Okay, so New York
heat.
in November is kind of ideal.
Lovely.
Okay.
Yep,
What's number 3?
The third marathon that I ran was the Chicago Marathon, and that's in October.
Okay.
It's flat.
It's flat.
Very flat. So fasties love it. Those of us that are more in the back of the pack can be hard because you don't have the change in your muscles, right? So like when there's like little rolling hills, it just changes your muscles,
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So like your quads, just how your quads and your hamstrings feel. So when it's just flat, it's just it was a little bit tougher.
Is there a
for
name
me.
for if you're not a fastie, what are you?
I would say back of the packer.
Back of the packer.
That's what I would consider myself, a back of the pack.
And you know what happens when you cross the finish line at 26? You're still a marathoner.
Still a marathoner. Still a marathon. It doesn't matter how fast you get there. I still get there every single time.
So we have 3 we've talked about.
Yep.
There's 3 more.
So after I actually did Boston, New York, and Chicago, that was when I was like, ooh, I've done half of the world marathons.
Got to finish
And
that.
so that was the moment after finishing Chicago, I was like, I have to go for it now. So then doing the ones overseas, it's much harder to get into those marathons. And then in 2019, I put in for the lottery for Berlin. And so that's in September. I got lucky. I got into the lottery. I was elated when it happened. So Berlin was a great marathon. Again, it's meant for the fasties, but it was amazing to be able to go, overseas to run it, being able to go into the Olympic Stadium the day before we did a shakeout run before the marathon, and we were there, and it was magical.
And what's amazing in Berlin, right, is you're running through parts of the country that were never open, right, since the Cold War.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about, in 1989, prior to that, you had the wall up. So the Brandenburg Gate was something you would see only behind a checkpoint, but you ran through.
Right under it. I actually thought that was the finish line. I thought the finish line was just past the gate, and we still had probably 0.2 to go. I kind of went out a little bit faster because I was thinking I was finishing at the gate.
Sure.
And so then I had to dig even deeper.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah,
It's a big monument.
exactly. Like you're like, and you see it from the distance and you're like, okay, that has to be the finish line.
Nope.
No.
No luck.
No. And then what
Keep on running,
Keep
Michelle.
on running. And what got me to the finish line, they started playing John Denver, Take Me Home
Country
to
Road.
the Play, Country Road. Yeah. They started playing that song.
Love it.
I started hysterically crying. It just felt like, you can do this, Michelle. Like, there's John Denver. He's singing to you. Like, I'm in Berlin, Germany. Like, why is John Denver singing as I'm about to cross the, the finish line?
I can see the emotion in your face as you're telling me this story.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I just felt like in that moment, I'm like, someone is like watching out for me. Someone is like, you can do this, Michelle. Like, just
this is your American anthem to finish the last point.
Here I am, yeah.
Congratulations. Then after Berlin, where did you go?
Well, then COVID struck.
So that was a year off for you.
Yes. So in April of 2020, I was able to get a bib for London. So I did a lot of talking and I talked to a lot of people. I'm like, please, can I have a bib? Then COVID happened. And then it was so sad. It was just so sad because I had done so much training for it.
Yeah.
And then...
But they just get postponed then till 21?
But I lost my bib. I wasn't able to get a bib for London till 2023. So that was April of 2023.
Okay.
The problem with London is the roads are so tiny.
Okay.
And so, like, when you're used to just, like, running around here, like, it's just, like, all these little, like, teeny carriage roads. And they have over, 50,000 people. So what was hard for London is I didn't really get my groove until, probably mile 18 or 19.
The marathon's almost over at this point.
Yeah, because there was someone, like I could touch somebody within an arm's length of any direction. And so it's hard to get into your pace when all of a sudden someone stops.
Does that happen? People stop, they fall or something?
Yeah, all the time.
You jump over them?
All the
What do
time.
you do?
Well, it tweaks your knees, right? Because all of a sudden someone stops and you're like, It was amazing, though, because everyone's like, you're doing smashing, darling. You're smashing it. I'm like, oh, my God, I am smashing it.
It's a long way to run.
It's a long way.
So what are you doing? What's your mind? You mentioned about the sort of the mind part of this.
Mm-hmm.
What is your mind doing besides going into survival mode, asking yourself, why am I doing this?
Right. Yeah. I do ask that. With Berlin and London, also with Tokyo, everything's in kilometers over there.
Right.
There's a lot of math going on, and it's super deluxe hard to do math while you're running. I'm like, wait, I'm at 25 kilometers. Okay, so 5K is 3 miles. And like, it took me almost 2 miles to figure out what mile I was at the 25K because...
Makes the time go by.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I could have looked at my watch to like see where I was at, but I'm like, no, Michelle, you're going to do this math right now.
So we're going to go to a game show pretty soon, but I need you to tell me a little bit about Tokyo, because that was the most recent that you did, right? I know you're excited about that.
That was in March. That was probably the hardest marathon for me.
Well, just the jet lag of getting there, having to just acclimate, right? And all those ways.
All of it. The language, the customs in Tokyo they're very strict. Like you couldn't throw anything on the ground.
Okay.
Like
a cup, you're running with water and you throw it?
No. No. You couldn't do that. Like some people run with like goos, like gels. Usually in marathons, people just like take them down and then just like toss them, because there's always people, they're picking up afterwards. No, they had people in Tokyo, like you couldn't drop one piece of trash anywhere.
So where do you put it?
In your pockets, you held it, put it in your sports bra, like you would just hold your trash. Yeah.
Now, you had a chance while you were in Tokyo to do the Mario Kart right downtown.
Yes, it was amazing.
How was that?
We put on costumes and we just got in the go-karts and it was epic. It was epic. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what am I doing? Yeah, going like 40 miles an hour in Tokyo traffic is like Tokyo drift.
Oh, so you're actually in with other cars?
Oh, yes.
You drive a go-kart in with Tokyo traffic.
Yes. It was insane.
You are a good sport. I mean, it's an amazing. I mean, and so then this other medal that I see on the table here. So people who are listening won't be able to see it, but if you watch the video, you will. There's all 6 of the marathons that are there. It's a blue ribbon. Tell us about what this. You get that only if you have to prove that you've done the others.
Definitely. So when I ran Boston, New York, Chicago, they call that stars. So like I had 3 stars. So you want to be a 6-star finisher. And so once you're at your 5th star, so for me, it was when I finished London, when I was able to secure a bib for Tokyo, they, in the bibs and the scanning, they know that I was, trying, going for my 6th star. What's difficult about Tokyo is they have checkpoints. And if you don't make it to a checkpoint, they actually pull you off the course.
Oh,
so I saw people at mile 13 getting pulled.
Really?
They just pull you right off. If you don't get there at a certain time, you're off. You're done. That definitely added some like anxiety to running because you are like, I have to get to this point by this time. If not, I'm out.
Yeah.
And when you're a back of the packer, it's harder. Those checkpoints are harder because for most races, they go by chip time. And for Tokyo, they go by gun time. And so I'm not going to be lining up with people who run 3-hour marathons. I'm a 4:45 marathoner.
Okay.
So I have to make up all that time. And then when I was able to get my 6th star, I was a crying hot mess because it was years and years like of having a goal, like 10 years of like working towards like a pretty amazing accomplishment. Like I'm very proud.
And you should. I'm going to
that.
underscore what amazing means for people who made it. They've heard this podcast. They've heard the World Marathon Experience. But let me just say, in terms of amazement, right? You're one of 5,734 women, one of 5,734 in the world who've completed all the world marathons. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think everybody in their car and who's watching is clapping right now.
Yeah.
Right? Awesome.
See,
even
you just saying that, I get all teary-eyed. Like I'm like super proud of myself that I was able to accomplish that.
You deserve all those accolades.
So, thank you so much.
I mean, if you're not inspired listening to Michelle, I don't know what will do it for you, but it's intimidating also. But we're so proud of you. You're so human and so relatable and so fun, and the kids love you, and it's no surprise, right?
Thanks.
All right, so you talked about playing games. You like playing games.
Yes,
you play
I
games
play
in
lots
your
of
head.
games all
So
the time.
Are you up for a little game here?
I'm totally up for a game.
We're not going to run around. So this is a yay or nay. I'm going to throw out a word or two. Well, actually, it'll be just a word. And
Okay.
you're gonna react to it. Right?
Okay.
Ready? So this is going to be easy.
Okay.
All right, first question, yay or nay? Treadmills.
Ugh, nay.
Why? What do you mean?
Oh, they're horrible. They're the dread mill.
Can I give a fun fact?
Yeah.
Did you know
Totally.
that treadmills were originally designed as a torture device for
I
prisoners?
Seriously.
Kid you not.
Well, that explains it.
And I believe it. I believe it. However, probably the longest I've ever run on a treadmill is probably 3 miles. But whoever is next to me on that treadmill, they don't know it, but I am racing them. They don't know, but I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to show
Really?
you. Oh yeah, I'm totally racing them every single time.
There it is. You heard it from a marathoner. All right, flip-flops.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay. Yeah.
Not for a marathon,
No.
but generally.
Post marathon, definitely. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
there's definitely some runners flip flops that I wear.
How about energy drinks?
Nay.
Why? That's the health teacher in your
Yeah,
family.
that
They have
is
electrolytes? You're not a Red Bull runner.
No. Oh God, that hurts my heart just even thinking about that. Oh God Almighty. No energy drinks. Nay.
Nothing.
Always nay. Water. Just drink water.
All right,
No
well,
one
how
needs energy drinks.
How about fruit salad?
Yummy. Sorry.
You know the
had to.
Wiggles.
Yeah,
That
I
goes
mean-
back. Yeah, wow.
We're
very
going
good.
back.
That's
We're bringing
very
it back
good.
right there.
That's very far back. How about singing?
Always, yay.
Always,
yay.
yeah.
Always, yay.
John Denver, probably.
Yeah, can we get you guys to sing a verse of that together?
Of
Take me home.
Yeah.
I don't know it well enough. I should know it well enough.
Take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Take me home, Mountain Road.
Country Road.
Country road. I always say mountain. I am that person that when I sing, there's always a word or two that I make up, that I make it totally my own, that I never totally follow the lyrics.
It's a classic.
Yes.
So singing for sure. The food pyramid. Do you like how do you feel about the food pyramid? Is that a thumb up? Or?
No,
it's the my plate
It's
now.
my plate, exactly.
Yeah, see?
So my plate, I just, yay. I just think for kids to have a visual of understanding that they need fruits and vegetables, that it can't just be Takis all the time. That drives me cuckoo bananas when I see kids with their Takis.
It's all about balance.
You can have it, but not for lunch. Your lunch shouldn't be Takis.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Trail running.
Yay. That's like a quiet yay. There's animals that could eat me. So I do get a little bit nervous about that.
You have to just outrun them.
True. It's more like watching out for like the roots of the trees. So trail running is definitely more technical. And sometimes when I run, I'm more like la la la. And I'm just like in my own little zone where when you're trail running, you need to be like zeroed in on what you're doing because you can get hurt like
Sure.
over all the roots and stumps and trees.
All right. It's my last question for you. The last
Yeah.
yay or nay. It's the last one. Yay or nay. Brand new sneakers on marathon day.
Oh my, nay. No, that's the worst idea ever. Worst idea wearing a new shirt. Worst idea wearing new shorts, new socks. No, terrible idea.
So how long should, like a pair of sneakers, right? How long should you wear a pair of sneakers for? I mean, just generally speaking, how long do they last? What's the shelf life?
I feel like
Oh, it's in
200
miles.
miles.
How many kilometers? No,
So,
you don't.
don't
You have to do the math.
do me with the math. I can't.
200 miles. I have sneakers that are older than my kids. and
Yeah,
they're-
no.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's
those,
probably,
get rid of
you gotta
those. Yeah, get rid of
So-
those.
so
Get rid of
200
those.
miles is
200 miles.
Well, listen, it was so great to have you as a guest on the show.
Thank you.
The world is grateful for you and for what you've done for fundraising through the Marine Corps, for what you do for Framingham for so many decades. The energy.
Oh,
that you bring.
decades. Oh, the way
I
you
know.
say it sounds so old.
Well, listen, I mean, you wouldn't know it
I
to
know,
talk to you and
thanks.
to know what you've done. So just want to thank you for being here today, for sharing all about you and hopefully inspiring people out there.
Thank you.
On
I love
behalf
this.
of,
I love being here. I love Framingham.
So, but thanks so much for joining us on the Bobcast. It was great to have our guest here today, and we'll make sure you keep tuning in to our future episodes. We'll catch you next time.